Yes guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my brutally honest advice for anybody wanting to build muscle as quickly and as safely as possible. Let's dive into it. Now, first things first, as you've probably heard me say a lot on this channel, you have to go through the mirror check, okay? If you want to build a good quality amount of muscle and you look in the mirror and you are fat, my friend, you do not have the right to build muscle, okay? You have to pull yourself into a fat loss phase. Building muscle requires patience, it requires calories, it requires meticulous training, and strength increases over time. And if you're 20 kilos overweight, you simply cannot go into a 6-month gaining phase. You need to go into a fat loss phase first, and then you take yourself into a muscle building phase. But the good thing about this is your training in a fat loss phase and your training in a muscle building phase is the same, because the training that builds your muscle, Storm, got to get one video out a day, I've got to film it, even if it rains on me. The training that built your muscle is going to maintain your muscle, right? We don't change our training plan in a cut compared to a gaining phase. So take yourself through the mirror check, be brutally honest. Can you see your abs? Okay, cool, I'm ready to go into a gaining phase. If I'm fat and I can't see my abs, cool, I'm going into a fat loss phase, but my training remains the same, okay? Now, in terms of building muscle, for 95% of you guys, which are men between 24 and 55 on this channel, you probably all want to build muscle and lose body fat, okay? So I'm guessing we're at a position now where we're ready to go into a gaining phase, because if you want to go into a fat loss phase, watch my video on how to go into a proper fat loss phase. Yeah, you're lean enough, we're ready to go. Strength matters, guys. It matters a lot. I had a comment on one of my YouTube videos. If you're watching this, my man, please reach out to me to help you. He said, my bro's talking like everybody can just bench press 100 kilos. Right. Strength matters when it comes to building muscle. Even more so as a natural guy. 99% of you guys are natural and just want to look great on the beach, okay? That's what this channel's about. Looking great on the beach, not being the most shredded, not being the most ripped, a good, complete physique, as I go on about. This guy said to me, not everyone can just bench 100 kilos. Obviously, when I first did a bench press, I was bench pressing probably 40 kilos. Remember when I first tried 60 kilos, so 135, one plate, I dropped it on my chest and I still have like a click in my chest when I wake up in the morning. You need to work up to a 100 kilo press, my friend, okay? No one just walked into the gym and benches 100. It took me years and years and years and years to take my bench press from 40 kilos to 60 kilos to 80 kilos to 100 kilos. But what happened as I added all that strength over time? I obviously added more muscle. And once I was able to bench press 100 kilos for 8 to 10 reps, not only did I have a chest, I also had shoulders and I also had triceps, because it's a big compound lift. Strength matters. If you want to build the most amount of muscle possible, you need to get stronger across the key lifts, which I always rave about. Get great at chin-ups, dips, incline pressing, overhead pressing, heavy rows, deadlifts and squats and lunges. That's all you'll ever need. And then you can do some curls, some triceps, some side raises, some rear delts, some hamstring curls, okay? Get good at the basics. How do we build strength, okay? Proper training, proper sleep, proper recovery, and a proper amount of calories. We know that if you increase your body weight over time, whilst increasing your strength, your lifts over time, whilst increasing your calories over time, we know now that this will increase muscle. Everyone knows this. An increase in calories, strength, and body weight means an increase in muscle. So we know in order for you to build the most amount of strength possible, there has to be a surplus of calories. And if there's going to be a surplus of calories, we know that building muscle is a long game. If there has to be a surplus of calories to build muscle, we cannot do it from a fat starting position. You have to get yourself lean. Take yourself through an 8-week, 12-week, 16-week fat loss phase. Whatever you need to do, you've got to get yourself lean, okay? Of course, we can still progress our strength in these fat loss phases and progress these lifts. That's great. You're going to be building muscle on the way down. You get yourself into a good lean position, then you start driving calories up and you'll have an even better physique than before, okay? But we know that patience is a big one. You don't take yourself from, well, remember guys, your maintenance calories are what they are, right? Work them out online. Once you've got your maintenance calories, you increase by 250 calories, okay? That is your starting point in your gaining phase. So we're training hard, we've got an increase in calories, and we're slowly driving body weight up. and we're driving strength up over time. As those lifts go up over the months and months and months, you're going to start putting muscle on your whole frame. But in order to really build muscle, guys, we're looking at 6 months to a year in a gaining phase. The 12-week bulks do not work. A 12-week fat loss phase works. A 12-week fat loss phase works really well. You can pull 12 kilos off in 12 weeks, but you can't build a lot of muscle in that time. So you need 6 months, 9 months to a year. That's why I always rave on about being lean. And if you want to learn how to do this stuff, guys, I put 35 modules into a course, which you can just click the link below and get it, where I go over everything in terms of training, the 3-day training plans, the 4-day training plans, everything's already in there. So it goes straight to your phone and opens up the plans. Everything on nutrition, bulking, cutting, maintaining, reverse dieting, it's all there. If you want that, there it is. But anyway, let's crack back on. So as we know, as 12-week bulks don't really work, if we're looking at an 8-month, 9-month, 12-month gaining phase, we have to have slow increases in calories, right? You can't go from 2,000 to 4,000, start your bulk at 4,000. What happens after 4 weeks? You're fat and you have to cut again. The goal to building muscle, we want to have the least amount of fat come on with that gaining phase. And to do that, we have that slow increase, those incremental increases in calories, 200 every few weeks, 200 every month, whatever it may be, for however long it may be. That is the key to building muscle. And the beauty of this is by setting yourself up this way and by driving calories up over time, you end up putting yourself in a perfect position to go into the perfect fat loss phase, because you've driven your metabolic rate up so high and got your body used to so many calories that it can now maintain its weight at 3,500 calories as opposed to 2,500 calories. So you can start your fat loss phase from 3,000 calories instead of 2,000 calories, meaning you can hold more muscle and get leaner because you can push the diet harder because you've got more tools in the toolbox to play with. Comprende? Do you see where I'm coming from? Okay. So we know that patience is a big one. In terms of the actual training, I brushed over that quickly. 3 days a week or 4 days a week is plenty. Again, I've had a lot of backlash of people saying 3 days isn't enough. I thought you need more sets. No, you don't. You don't need more sets. Who's going to build more muscle out of you or me? Imagine I'm trying to grow my arms, yeah, which I actually need to. Imagine I'm trying to grow my arms. I walk into the gym, I warm up, 25 kilos attached to me, and I hit a set of 8 chin-ups, proper chin-ups, full range of motion, obviously my back as well, but think about the bicep recruitment, 25 kilo chin-ups for 8 reps. Then I do 12.5 kilo chin-ups for 10 reps. Then I do a body rep set for 12 to 15. I then go over to so that's a chin-up, a supinated grip chin-up, yeah? I then go over to a hammer curl, okay, a hammer curl. I'm gonna, on an incline bench, I'm gonna take myself into this position so my bicep is in a weak lengthened position and I'm starting the curl from a compromised position, and I'm gonna do a set of 10 to 12 reps to complete and utter failure and beyond. Complete destruction. Had a gun to my family's head and asked for 14 reps. I couldn't get it, I could only get 12 to 13. Failure, yeah? Screaming the gym down, being a weirdo. Rest a couple of minutes, and let's say they're 15 kilo dumbbells. I then drop to 10 kilo dumbbells and do another set and get 12 to 15. Complete and utter failure, okay? So that's 3 sets of chin-ups, 2 sets of curls, that's 5 sets, yeah? I then finish off with 2 sets of curls, again in this lengthened position. I'm going from a cable where I'll go into some sort of like a drag curl. 2 sets of 12 to 15 to complete and utter failure. 7 sets on biceps. I'm going to build more muscle than you if you go in and do 3 sets of preacher curls, 3 sets of hammer curls, there's Ottoman curls where you're twisting, and then you've got, you know, cable curls here, and then you've got cable curls here, and then you're doing 21s, and then you're going to run the rack from 14 kilos, 12 kilos, 10 kilos, 8 kilos, and then before you know it, you're just doing the 4s like this, and you've done 25 sets on biceps. I'm in and I'm out. Good quality work. Quality always beats quantity in the gym. Good quality reps and good quality sets to failure over junk volume. 3 days a week is plenty. 4 days a week is more than enough. If you're training 6, 7 days a week, your physique isn't great, okay? Now, over time, that was a little side rant, I couldn't help myself. Over time, as we're going into this gaining phase, there is going to be a time where your calories start to get higher and higher and higher. Yeah, would we agree? When this happens, guys, obviously at some point you're going to accumulate some body fat. So we want to throw in some mini cuts If you're doing a 1 year gaining phase, maybe every 3 months you'll throw in a 2 to 4 week, not 4 weeks, let's say 2 to 4 week mini cut, where let's say you're at 3,500 calories, your appetite's starting to struggle, you're starting to feel a little bit soft, you're starting to look a bit bloated, your face is starting to go a little bit. 2 weeks, we pull right down 2,500, so a very aggressive drop. We pull 3 or 4 kilos off across 2 weeks, put ourselves in a nice tidy position, and then we push back up. You almost take like 1 step back to take 2 steps forward. Gaining phase, gaining phase, gaining phase, 1 step back, 2 steps forwards again. By throwing in these mini cuts every few months, you'll actually accumulate less fat over time, give yourself a bit of a break, help to kind of get your appetite back after you start to lose it. Anyone knows in a gaining phase, eventually you'll lose your appetite. And by doing this, you end up, fly on my head, I stink, sweating for you guys. You'll end up building more muscle because you can spend more time in the gaining phase, gaining less fat because you had some mini cuts along the way. So when you do get to that end goal, you might have 4 or 5 kilos less fat on you than before, which means you have to spend less time in the deficit when you do pull into your fat loss phase, which means you have less time to lose muscle because you don't have to be in the deficit for as long. So that was my ramble on how to build muscle, brutal, honest advice, get strong as possible, drive calories up. Remember, the takeaway point, calories up, body weight up, strength up, those 3 together means more muscle. If you're not doing that, you're doing the same, you're changing your workouts every single week, and then you're kind of bulking one day, then you're cutting, and then you do 8 different chest workouts across 8 different weeks, it's never gonna happen for you. Get my course below, stop fucking around, see you in the next one.